Welcome to CC Writes. My name is CC Lucky, and today I'm so alone. And I'm not the only writer who feels that way. For a long time, my experience with the writing community across multiple platforms has felt like little more than shouting into the void. This can make community and support between writers extremely difficult. At times, most of the time even, trying to establish your writing community can be extremely isolating. Seriously, why will no one talk to me? Does my profile picture smell bad or something? From what I've seen, my experience of isolation in the writing community is reflected back at me from every angle. It's like a carnival of loneliness and all of the clowns are crying cats. And yet, despite the proliferation of writers who want to be a part of community, I still haven't found a safe place to share my work where I feel like I'll be heard and supported. I talk a lot about how to be a better writer in other videos like this one about how to be a better writer by writing cell phone novels. But today I wanted to focus on how we can be a better community of writers. I tried joining the writing community on Twitter. At first I was excited and ready to connect with other writers about the challenges of writing and how we can improve ourselves. After 6,000 followers and a daily slog through attention-seeking posts, including more than a few of my own, I gave up on finding a real connection in that sphere. So then I tried NaNoWriMo, hoping writers in my area would want to meet and form writing circles. However, I stepped into a group that was already pretty well established and who met so far away from me that it was too difficult to join any of their meetups. Whatever, I don't need to sit with the popular girls anyway. I don't care. Feeling disappointed, I turned to Facebook and their plethora of writing groups, but yet again, all of my posts were ignored. I felt like a complete outsider. It was high school all over again. I'm never gonna get Ryan to notice me and ask me to the homecoming dance. Gah! I live in virtual isolation from the community that I desperately want to be a part of. I've had to struggle through my writing career alone. I write alone, learn alone, succeed alone, and it sucks because people were never meant to be alone. Community is an integral part of our mental health, even for a group of people largely made up of introverts like writers. Community matters. Community can come in a lot of different forms, but when I hear the word, I always think of a group of people who work together toward a common goal. A community bands together around a shared value or goal, and they strive to help one another achieve that goal. A community is like a human chain of progress and success. I think that this picture of community is an achievable goal within the writing sphere. There are a few key changes that we can make as individuals to create a community focused on group success rather than individual accomplishment. We can do that with 6 guidelines on how to be better writers for each other. As writers, our endgame goal is to tell a great story and get as many people to read it as possible. We also want to get better at writing so people will want to read our stories. We already have this commonality. We are the Borg. We are the collective. It doesn't matter whether you're in it for the money or to bring awareness to something or for any other possible reason. You write stories for people to read, and you have to be a good writer to make that happen. That is our goal, and it should also be our ultimate focus. In many writing groups, after a while, I start to notice infighting that happens because large groups of people mean that personalities and ideologies will inevitably clash. What? You mean other people have different thoughts and opinions than I do? As a writer who has to constantly inhabit the brains of multiple characters, I never saw that coming. Eventually, the entire group becomes toxic because we forget to keep the core values of our group at the center of all of our interactions. Another problem is that we have a tendency to try and use the community to promote our work. I've done it too. It's an easy trap to fall into, but it's a trap nonetheless. We get nothing good out of marketing our work to other writers. We annoy each other with it. In doing so, we stop treating other writers like a community and start treating them like potential customers. Petty arguments and disagreements separate us. They make us hate each other. Stop trying to spill the tea. Forget the tea. Tea isn't even that good anyway. Everybody in the UK just gasped in hatred at me. We can be a better community if we stop letting petty disagreements separate us. We can be a better community if we stop trying to use one another. And we can do that by using our shared goals as writers to guide our interactions. Think of it this way. How stupid would it be if two car salesmen met up and kept trying to sell each other a car? Instead, they talk about their different marketing strategies, how to attract customers, which cars they like the best, and so on. When you're with a friend or colleague and you talk about your shared interests, you're not trying to get something out of them. You share your excitement, you learn what you can from them, and you share your own knowledge and experience. That's what an actual community looks like. Speaking of learning and sharing knowledge, there's another way that we can be a better community. Writers should share the desire to improve our skills and grow as people. This life isn't easy. Many of us get disillusioned and quit writing entirely because of how difficult it is to succeed. I've seen many close friends stop writing entirely because of the dismissal and rejection that we face. It can be too much. And that's why it's so important to share our desire for improvement with each other. We have to yearn for it like we yearn for cupcakes after a brutal workout routine. We have to treat it like more than a hobby or something to pass the time. I've seen more jokes about the procrastination of writers than I've seen people genuinely asking for help for how to keep their writing on track. We have to share this desire with each other, and we have to respond to that desire when we see it. It's going to solidify our bond as a group and help us forge ahead into the next thing that's going to make us a better writing community. We need to help other writers however possible and as much as possible. If someone in your community needs a launch team for their book, we should be falling over ourselves to join it. There should be a stampede of writers knocking down doors to help out. If someone needs advice on how to improve their writing, we should be giving it. If they need someone to give feedback on a story or help with beta reading or even to answer a single question of significance to their book, we should be offering to help with open arms. I don't know how many times I've asked my writing communities for help with my work only to be met with silence or outright rudeness. I once asked for help figuring out how modern teenagers bully each other, and I kid you not, the only response I got was that bullying doesn't happen anymore because they personally had never experienced it. Think about that for a second. Bullying doesn't happen. This kind of disregard hurts. It makes me want to give up on other writers. And it's the exact opposite of what makes a good community. We should never have to face something like this among our fellow writers. Willingness to help also gives us a chance to do the next thing. If we share our resources for success, we can uplift the community as a whole. So often we see one another as competition in the writing game. A capitalist mindset argues against helping your competitors. But what I've seen among people who succeed in any industry is that they got there with the help of an entire community going to bat for them. They had family that could help get them a job, friends who could get jobs and either recommend or hire them so that they could get a foot in the door, or past colleagues who admired their work and put in a good word so they could work together again. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we need more nepotism in the writing field. The success of one person in a writing community should be the success of all other members of that community. It should be that way because we all work for each other's ultimate victory. When I find something that works, I love to share it with everybody that I know so that they can benefit from it as well. When someone I love is trying to get attention for a project they've been working on, I use my platform to share it. In a true community, when one of us wins, we all win. And speaking of wins, we really should be celebrating each other's victories more often. Partying is important for, reasons. I know seeing somebody else succeed when you've been working on it for a long time is rough. But that victory isn't just theirs. It's the victory of a large group of people hoisting that person up so that they could reach the top. Very few people ever succeed alone. They either do it with the support of their community or on the backs of the people they stepped on. Be the kind of community that makes a joyful noise when someone in your group benefits from the support that you gave them. Don't get jealous or think that those people are going to leave you behind or think that they're too good for you. They did a great thing and they deserve to be celebrated. You did a great thing too by helping them get there. You deserve to celebrate. And finally, if you're one of the ones who is fortunate enough to get hoisted to the top of the mountain, it is your job to look down at the masses lifting you up to pull up as many other people to the peak as possible. With your new position in the world, you have a much greater platform that you can use to uplift the people who helped you get there. Use it as often as you can while you still have it. Be a force that connects your community members to success. A community is a group of friends, a group of chosen family members that helps pull you through the darkest times. They are your team, your coaches, and your cheerleaders. It is so much harder for a team to win if all of the players think that they have to do it by themselves or forget the teammates who helped make them shine. We can be better, and the only way to be better is if we do it together. In the end, it was all about the friends we made along the way. If you'd like to see more from me about how you can be a better writer, check out the video on top where I tell you how your bad story ideas can improve your writing. Otherwise, click on the bottom video to see what YouTube recommends. As always, thank you so much for joining me today on CC Writes. I hope you enjoyed our time together, and I will see you later.